I've never been married or engaged, and as I get older, I have less of a need to connect my heart and soul with any woman, even if she claims to be in a relationship. There is no requirement for a woman to spend her life alone, of course. She is perfectly capable of going out and finding a guy on her own, but what she really wants is the guy. That is the prettiest thing she has ever seen, according to her. This is nothing more than a practice in hyperbole. She has high hopes that there is a matchmaker somewhere who can truly put her in contact with a man who does not already exist in her social circle. Remember that in the days before the internet, dating, the only places you could actually meet people were at school, work, or social functions that you basically needed to get invited to. I'm going to go on a rant about the reasons why women give up when men go their own way or become confirmed bachelors, as well as the phenomenon that I've observed, which is that the longer I go without dating or relationships, the less interest I actually have to ever go back to them. I'll start with the first reason. Again, the more comfortable I get being my own master and making my own decisions, the more control I have over my life. I find that the less I want other people and the more time I spend by myself, the angrier I become when I am forced to interact with others. And the more irritable I become around those individuals as well, particularly the ones who are attempting to control me or tell me what to do. Increased productivity, pleasure, and the ability to understand other people's behaviors and ideas, particularly those of women who are attempting to influence me and weasel their way into my life, are some of the unintended consequences of becoming a mgtow. I find that I only contact with women in locations where they are expected to be properly behaved, such as workplaces and other professional settings. This is becoming an increasingly common occurrence for me. Whenever you engage in conversation with a female cashier, associate server, or any other member of the hospitality industry, she may despise your guts and want to treat you horribly, but she can't because she runs the danger of getting in trouble with her employer. The problem is that, as a whole, women are getting increasingly resentful because the majority of them have to work and have to put on a grin attitude that is not genuine. They must also put on the appearance that they are getting along with both their employees and the consumers. Therefore, when they date guys, they frequently transfer all of their negative and antagonistic energy onto the male. The worst possible working conditions for a woman are only made worse by the sermon that follows. She has been on her best behavior all day at work in preparation for their encounter, which takes place at the end of the day. I recall visiting one of my exes at work, at her job, and she was so cheery and friendly to clients. However, when she was around me, she would become icy and uncommunicative. There was a time when males could genuinely use force or the fear of force to get women, but those days are long gone. If we were dating or married, we would expect them to behave. Clearly, we are unable to proceed in that manner at this time. Therefore, women do not respect us for whatever power or authority that we possess. There is a possibility that we have any more. The longer I go without dating or being in a committed relationship, the less tolerant I get of the many forms of womanly shenanigans that women attempt to pull. It's gotten to the point where ladies are bombarding me with walls of text messages with massive amounts of verbal diarrhea, and they frequently show interest in me, despite the fact that I couldn't care less about it. I feel just like an elderly, worn-out dog that wants nothing more than to lie down in front of the fire and be left alone to enjoy the tranquility of the setting. I would actually say that going my own way has made me far less tolerant of the types of garbage that other people, both women and men, throw my way. This is true for all genders. It's not that I've developed an aversion to people. Simply put, I prefer pleasant social interactions in which I am valued. It's not a coincidence that the ladies I've met on Tinder this year have been unpleasant and toxic. I was under the impression that the reason behind the stereotype of women having a negative attitude toward bachelors was rather evident. It typically has something to do with the concept that misery loves company, and the thought that a guy should be allowed to do anything he wants in life makes them miserable. This is because they believe that a single man is a free slave. They are indoctrinated from a young age to believe that men exist solely for the purpose of serving them. Therefore, whenever they observe one of us acting in a manner that deviates from that predetermined social script, they actively stir up fury. Women look down on bachelors because our wealth is inaccessible to them. If a lady introduces you to one of her other friends, you should let her use your home for a girls' night out, whether the event is hosted at her place or at yours and both of you. On the other hand, if you do not have a girlfriend or wife, it will be difficult for her to intrude your personal space. Women are invading male places. Women have used their sexuality to take over traditionally male domains. If they are unable to utilize that in order to colonize your space, then they are out of luck. All of those male resources are in the immediate vicinity, but it is unable to access them. Taxes for bachelor's degrees have been around for quite some time. When you're in a relationship as a guy, you begin to view this as the natural state of a man, and you begin to believe that every other man should behave in the same manner, because doing so confirms your purpose for being in this situation. Men such as Nikola Tesla and Isaac Newton are examples of confirmed bachelors who chose to remain single because they were too busy changing the world to start families. I had the preconceived notion that if I were to still be in love with the woman, she would make sure that I was constantly drunk and easy to control. Although women despise bachelors, it is through men's time spent alone thinking, creating, and writing that new ideas emerge. This is the source of the true power that women refer to as the patriarchy. Therefore, they inhibit man's ability to develop new things and express new ideas by limiting the amount of time he spends alone. It is not possible for him to look out for his own best interests or the best interests of society, since he is too busy serving her and womankind in general. During the time when he was working on the theory of relativity, Albert Einstein lived the bachelor lifestyle. He wanted to get married, but he also wanted to be able to concentrate on his work in solitude. Therefore, each day, his wife would bring his meals to his study, and then she would leave him alone over the course of time. I believe that she went completely insane since she did not have a male to nag because her husband was too busy working. It is not a coincidence that feminism and the systematic oppression of men in the West are becoming more severe as men gain access to things like adult content and now personal online spaces to discuss mgtow. At the same time as society is making efforts to obstruct the continuous existence of male energy and ideas, we are working to build a virtual realm that is devoid of male energy and ideas. It is the same as if you were in a submarine, and you were diving further and deeper until your hole was completely filled in. Because we have a complete understanding of the game, it is possible for mgtow to relieve us of that burden by removing the ability of women to critique us. When it comes to us, the pressure is irrelevant. We'll have built up enough momentum to the point where we'll be completely unstoppable, like a juggernaut. At that point, not even Deadpool will be able to stop us.